Hey, what's good, all? Just want to take a real quick moment to talk about the Derek Chauvin sentencing trial. As always, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's getting out there, enjoying their day. As always, thank you for supporting the RBC channel. I hope you're enjoying the material that's been put out and been sharing it and putting it, send it to others so they can get the knowledge and empowerment to step in our communities and make a difference. As always, for those who are new, welcome to Rebuilding Community Trust. The site is dedicated to those that want to learn and be empowered by what's going on in our communities and what's going on in our in our politics, our government, and of course the law enforcement community. Please subscribe, share, and pass this information on to someone else so they can get the knowledge needed to educate themselves and empower. Real quick, I'm not gonna be before you long. Derek Chauvin trial, 22 and a half years, right? 22 and a half years sentence, and you know there's stipulations in that, but for what has been going on, the magnitude of what's been going on with law enforcement and the largest case ever when it comes to police brutality, and even in this time frame, it's bittersweet. I said it before, when we moved to him getting convicted of the crimes, 4 counts of aggravated manslaughter, murder, and stuff like that. All right, you know, it's one thing, but now to see the sentencing aspect of it, 22 and a half years, the prosecution was pushing for more. But it was just good to see justice finally being served. I mean, we all know that everything's not going to be perfect, but for what happened, you know, to George Floyd and the magnitude of people fighting and speaking out and protests and unrest, all these things contributed to at some point the jurors and, you know, just kind of looking at the facts and looking at how things went down. This unrest has caused really to scrutinize the policies and the procedures and even the way departments are ran, police departments are ran now. So it's just interesting to see. I mean, we know that he's already been serving since April. A lot of people are attested, you know, the defense is going for 12 and a half, 11, 10 to 15 max to state guidelines. Prosecution's going over the state guidelines. Interesting enough, 40 years is the max, right? Over state guidelines they're pushing for, but the judge gave him 22 and a half, right? Since he's going to serve out time served. He on good behavior and supervised visitation, some other counts that may be put into effect, he may not even serve the full time. So again, we want to, you know, different news sources said they're going to look into federal charges and looking at different other things to get him, you know, keep him in there longer or add more to his sentence. But rarely given 40 years term in the state of Minnesota. State guidelines says 30. And, you know, we look at other cases with Muhammad Noor when he shot the Miss Justine Ruzak Damond, Australian. I don't know if she was a national, but she was there in the States visiting, and she was going to an officer. And she got shot and killed by Officer Noor, and he was sentenced to 12 and a half years. So, you know, when we look at these different cases, you got to look at the state guidelines. I think I did a video before on how state sentencing works, you know, in some things. He's a first-time offender, Derek Chauvin, so they're trying to, you know, not give him the max because he's a first-time offender. But again, you look at the charges, you look at what's been given and sentenced down. Depending on the correctional system now, he's going to not serve that full term. They're going to look at good behavior. They're going to look at time served. They're going to look at a lot of other factors that's going to get him and knock his time down, and he may not do the full 22 and a half years. But nevertheless, when we look at these different things, we look at the families. I hope that for the families that this is justice. You never can ever get someone back in our lives we lost to this type of stuff. But, you know, the solace in knowing that, you know, everything was unturned. Every piece of evidence looked at, every testimony put on stand. Hopefully it would help put at ease the families and, you know, the family involved, his daughters, his kids, his brothers, his family members at ease. And it may never ever be perfect, but, you know, hopefully it'll put some factors at ease when it comes to George Floyd. But again, for our African Americans in this country, hopefully this will be a glimmering light for all of us to see that that, you know, police officers won't, you know, do things unintentionally like Derek Chauvin's done and caused George Floyd to be killed, you know, 8 to 9 minutes of horrible treatment. Some call it torture, right? So I hope this puts some light. Stand by for more. I know it's more going to come out about this. He's got sentenced, but things are subject to change. And hopefully the trial for the other officers begins in March of 2022, per the news media. So we'll start seeing some stuff come to light, more evidence, more stuff comes out that may, add, maybe that may contribute to more time. It may just be used in some form. Who knows what it's going to bring later? But at the end of the day, this is to me a victory as it's going to get, and hopefully this will set an example to officers to be more careful how they treat people they arrest, especially when it comes to minorities and African Americans. Learn to have decency and respect for the public. Your job is to protect and serve, not to take a judge, jury, executioner. And it does contribute, as I said yesterday. So I did a video yesterday that it causes officers to be more careful, but it may not want them to work in the law enforcement community. But this is needed because at the end of the day, we experienced police brutality for so long, and this is needed. This has been waiting for so many other cases, so many other people that lost their lives by the hands of law enforcement. Finally, you get some type of victory. This is needed. So I hope that this will cause a shift, on being more careful, understanding the concepts of protecting to serve and treat people with decency and respect, regardless of what they've done. Again, it's a fine line because again, we know when you operate in that capacity, things are tending to be dangerous, and sometimes you have to make a split-second decision to use deadly force or use commit serious bodily harm. So with that, you just have to, as an officer, be mindful. But it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous line we play as all law enforcement officers, because we can be too careful, and then we get our lives taken. Law enforcement officers get their lives taken. So you got to be able to really look at that. So George Floyd, hope for the families again that this is justice. I think it's justice. I think it's more to be done. Obviously, more policies and other things need to be changed, but hopefully this will start a fire into the policies and procedures of law enforcement. Hopefully something will come down the pipeline to remind officers that we got to treat people with respect, regardless of what their race may be, whether they black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whether they any type of race, male or female, child, old person, doesn't matter. Everyone needs the opportunity to be able to take the trial or the court with ease and with decency and order, as best as possibly can. So that's all I have with George Floyd. Stand by for more, but I just wanted to announce that, and I know people are probably looking into it already, but just look at the state guidelines. Go back to the videos that I've done about looking at state guidelines and how sentencing works, how the trial courts work when it comes to dealing with time served and dealing with all these other things. So we can have an understanding that when someone says a timeline, you have to look into all the factors of what is going on with that timeline. They already served already, good behavior, parole, plea deal, all these things go into that, and that causes the sentencing to be less than what they've already said. So I hope this helps. Stay tuned. I'm going to continue to post more material following different cases and different stuff that pops up. If you have anything in the comments, please respond. If you would like to respond, if anything you want to talk about, please put in the comments, and I will definitely look into it. All right. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one.